it's been a day. I'm just going to get my notes published, and then we'll see where we are, okay? I'm tired. This is all I can do for right now. 001. Basic zombie plague. Infected people wander around, lumbering, moaning, with dead eyes and slack jaws, grabbing whoever they can reach and eating them, infecting others with their bite. It's really disturbing, but relatively innocuous. I mean, not for the people who are infected, but hardly anybody gets infected. See, these zombies are so easy to avoid. You can outrun them by just taking a brisk stroll in the park. Very few deaths. A critical aspect of the zombie virus is that it's 100% infectious and 0% curable. You get it, you've got it. It knocks out or co-opts the immune system. Not sure exactly how. Nobody ever simply recovers from it and goes back to being not a zombie. I should note that there's a salient characteristic of zombies that reanimates the dead, usually ascribed to zombies, but not that I've seen, not that I've encountered. I'm not even sure it makes sense, as an idea. These zombies are moving around, they're dead inside. They lose their humanity, but they're still moving. They're still metabolizing. If they were dead, they would just lie there. So by any reasonable definition, they're still alive. The cannibalism supports the virus's spread by giving the body food. Yuck, right? If the infected didn't eat, they'd starve and stop moving, thereby not spreading the virus any farther. The other thing I'll note is that stereotypically, zombies stick to exclusively eating brains. Not that I've seen. That behavior is absent. The human skull is a pretty tough nut to crack open. All these zombies I've seen, they haven't been so particular. They're happy to eat arms, legs, anything they can reach. Zombie variant 002. A bit more successful than 001. Somewhat higher infection rate. This variant leaves zombies faster moving. They don't lumber so much. Cities see higher infection rates especially, at least until the news can spread that people need to stay indoors. Zombies can't operate door handles or even really climb stairs effectively, much less ladders and stuff. Variant 003. No noticeable slowdown at all. When Olympians get infected, you have sprinting zombies. This is not good, believe me, I've seen it. Skipping forward a bit, variant 005. Coordination not impaired by this one. Zombies can climb anything just like a normal person, and just as fast. To keep the infected out, it's now necessary to lock doors, not just close them. This is gross, but I have to get it on the record. The infection burns itself out pretty quick when the doors are locked, because once the zombies run out of fresh meat, they start eating each other until they bleed to death. Zombies that get eaten to the point where they can't move, can't bite anybody, infection dies with them. It's messy but effective containment. Variant 008 has evolved a new trick. Zombies can sometimes manage to speak normally. Infection rates are higher when a number of people hear, "Hey, unlock the door," and they don't realize it's a zombie asking them to do it. Variant 013 can also knock on doors and ring doorbells. That tricks more people. Variant 021 gravitates towards wearing sunglasses. When someone's peeking out the spy hole of their door trying to figure out whether to, hey, unlock the door or not, it's not so easy to tell whether the person outside has dead eyes or not. Variant 034. The moaning isn't so obvious. Actually, it sounds more like a sigh or a yawn. Instead of running away at the sound, people tend to turn towards the zombie and say stuff like, "Rough week, huh?" This is anecdotal, but around this point, I think I came across a zombie locksmith. Variant 055. The moaning's pretty much gone. The eyes don't look entirely dead. You have to look pretty close to tell somebody's infected. Obviously, it's not safe to get close enough to look. Not when the zombie can seize its opportunity to lunge forward and bite you. The only way to walk around and avoid infection at this point is to travel in groups with riot gear. And that's not a guarantee either. Variant 089. This is where it starts getting bad. Up to now, it's been possible to avoid getting tricked by a zombie because they still couldn't manage to answer basic questions like, who's the president of the United States right now? Or what color is the sky? But these zombies aren't so dumb. You can interrogate them for a while before they slip up. And some folks get mistaken for zombies simply because they were distracted or hungover. Variant 144. The infectiousness has gone up. It's no longer necessary to be bitten. Now getting scratched is enough. Variant 233. Still higher infectiousness. Now it's not necessary for a zombie to break the skin. Just make skin-to-skin contact. What's worse is that now there's an incubation period. An infected zombie doesn't truly become a zombie right away with the cannibalism and the rampant attempts to bite and scratch their neighbors. It doesn't happen for a full 24 hours after infection. During that incubation period, they act totally normally, but they're still infectious. The virus spreads a lot farther that way because even the infected don't know they're infected. Scientists have tried to develop a test for the zombie virus, but nobody ever manages to complete development of such a test before getting infected themselves. Variant 377. Zombies have evolved a tendency to say, "Hi, how do you do?" and offer to shake hands with strangers. Also, the dead eyes trait is pretty much gone. When they're not actively eating other folks, they look pretty normal. Variant 610. Now the virus can survive on touched surfaces. Everyone's got to wear gloves and disinfect all the doorknobs and such. The silent incubation period is now an entire month long. Also, during the incubation period, the zombie virus turns every infected person into an extrovert. They get a hankering to go out to bars and sports stadiums and other crowded venues. Variant 987. Airborne transmission. From this point on, Every variant I've seen has achieved 100% infection rate on its version of Earth. Sometimes whole cities infected before anyone starts eating anybody else, and then about a month later, civilization just collapses all at once. You can't unsee that. Variant 998. It's hopeless, folks. It's utterly hopeless. During the silent infection period, this variant amps up the victim's ability to strategize. It's not enough to stay indoors now. Zombies will be doing everything humanly possible to get inside your apartment and talk to you for 5 minutes. And that's all it takes to fill your air system with the virus that they're shedding as they talk to you. Routine maintenance, that could be a zombie. Got a package I need you to sign for, zombie. To all appearances, they're normal people. And though the scientific community says that they're trying to develop a test for the virus, the infected scientists are actually doing subtle things to sabotage their own research. And what might be the scariest thing of all, the zombies are even starting to show an uncharacteristic restraint around the cannibalism. Up to now, that was the one surefire tell. You know, you see someone surreptitiously munching on a finger, you know they're a zombie. But these zombies try not to eat other people, instead sustaining themselves on burgers and Twinkies, you know, whatever. So long as there's normal food around. Strategic. Variant 999. This is where we've landed, folks. The virus appears to have figured out, evolutionarily speaking, that its best chance of long-term survival is not to reveal itself ever. Basically, the only time these zombies eat other people is if they're forced to survive, which isn't all that different from normal people. Until and unless that happens, they go about their normal lives. They do their jobs, they do crossword puzzles, they play Minecraft. They raise their kids, who are also zombies. They get infected before birth. And just, yeah. That is to say, these zombies are by and large indistinguishable from non-infected people. They all have the virus. They all spread the virus. But after the incubation period, not much happens. At one point, I tried to get some scientists to invest in researching the virus. Of course, they were all infected. So they told me there was no available funding. Then again, I then looked at their balance sheets and, there really isn't available funding. I mean, there's money, sure, but, realistically, we've got to prioritize. And this zombie virus just isn't the most dangerous thing we're facing. There is one behavioral difference I've been able to determine. If you put a zombie in solitary confinement, it'll kind of go crazy. I guess because it can't socialize, and so it has no chance to spread the virus to anyone who isn't already infected. Although, frankly, on worlds that have this virus, they've already achieved 100% infection rate. It used to be people would get bored if left to themselves like that, but they could manage. For zombies, solitary confinement has become a cruel and unusual punishment. One of the worst things zombies can do to other zombies that are convicted of crimes. It's worth mentioning at this point that because almost every Earth has a Rick, and almost every Rick has one of these, this variant is spreading across the multiverse to all the Earths. Like fast. I've done my own investigation, and sure enough, I'm a zombie. I'm not sure where I caught it or when. At this point, I'm kind of spiraling mentally down into my own navel. Like, I can see the argument that knowing that I'm infected and possibly being the only person on this earth to realize it, I should be working on a cure. But then again, in trying to infect everyone it can, this 999 variant of the virus is also competing with all the other variants of the virus. That is, if you're already colonized with 999, it immunizes you against all the others. And most of the others are not just less infectious, but a lot worse for the people involved because of the cannibalism. So maybe it's better not to cure this variant, but to help it spread. But of course, as a zombie myself, my reasoning is suspect. The variant would want me to reach that conclusion. At least it hasn't prevented me from making this video and getting the word out. Maybe the virus isn't savvy to the internet yet. Or maybe it is and is playing a long game where it figures that not trying to disguise itself from the rest of the multiverse is actually the better strategy. Or maybe it's not concerned about me at all. It's unclear that I have any mechanism available to me to get the word out faster than the virus spreads. Which is another way of saying, and I'm deeply sorry to break it to you, but by the time you see this message on your Earth, chances are you're already infected. I don't know. And my brain hurts just thinking about it, so maybe some other Rick out there can figure out what we should do. Peace among worlds, zombies.